Nicole Nachtman. That's the biggest name here. We don't know what she did yet. A couple of reacts.
So far, we've been introduced to the mother, the father. I think that was the stepfather and the brother. And the brother right now is basically talking about the last time he had an encounter with his sister, which was the summer of 2015.
There's a point where they're talking about Nicole having to end up in overflow housing because she didn't file in time for student housing. If you're going to school on other people's dime, and there's another layer to this, where people weren't showing up inevitably on the first day of school, first day of college, that you're paying for higher education. What are your thoughts on that?
I think some people were pressured to go to school because that's what their parents were telling them to do. So they'll go through all the loops and then have this sort of like remorse kind. They really didn't want to go to begin with. I think it goes both ways. Yeah, that was messed up of her. You shouldn't do something like that, especially like if they ended up giving her some money towards it or if it was all like a student loan. So they found a female's body at the end of the driveway, and her head was facing towards the road or the street more so, and her feet towards the driveway of the man's house that lived right next door. His last name was Rowe. So this guy called 911, and, now this deputy is talking.
A lot of the details of the elements of the people, but they're saying stuff like the female, the blah, blah, all like disconnected bodies right now. They got to connect the dots, but they're trying to give you the full flesh. And the bombshells are starting to drop. Boom. The girl, Nicole, we've just left the murder mystery and into, whoa, I cannot believe she did this to her parents. She basically had to have done this. I mean, the way she acts, she had to have done this. She's basically ducking and dodging the police because they're trying to question, anybody and, informing families, etc. And she's ducking and dodging them on the address to her dorm room. She's allegedly making her way back to her dorm. She's going back to school. She's, hearing about her mom being in the hospital, but she's not really worried about it per se. She's just kind of lousy-da. And so her uncle actually gets onto the phone with her, and, he starts to record, and, he's ready to get this issue with who killed my sister put to bed.
And then she tried to say, even like you were saying, her whereabouts were not adding up. She said she left Wednesday around 6. It happened probably that same day, just a few hours later. So you were the last person to see her family alive? Like, it don't make sense. It was you.
Couple of reacts. This is now just a reaction to crazy. I mean, it's no longer murder mystery, but this is a monster we're looking at now. All right, let's do it.
Phone.
Hello? Hi, is this Nathan? Yes? Nathan, this is Detective Messer. I'm with the Sheriff's Office in Westport County. I'm spotted, actually, if you answer. Are you okay? I just got a call from my uncle. Okay, and I was just going to tell you, I called your, spoke to your uncle and spoke to your grandmother, and I want to make sure you're okay, obviously, but I guess your uncle told you what's happened? Can you tell me what's the hospital? Well, she's not doing very well, but I needed to talk to you. He had said that you had been staying at your grandmother's house. I guess. Yeah, I do that sometimes, but I didn't tell her asking. Oh, are you? I've been here about, a day or two or so. A day or two or so? Yeah, because I have school, Tuesday and Monday. Okay. Well, any way I can meet you up there and talk to you? I need to show some pictures to you. And it's going to be done by the immediate next you can. Yeah. But you're not driving right now or anything like that. Actually, no, friends I am. Oh, are you? Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, just want you to do that.
I'm on campus. I don't know the area that well over the campus.
Okay. Well, do you know your address or where you're staying?
Again, under the Smith building. I want to go over the address for you. Well, because I don't really,
Okay.
the streets down out here more narrow and they don't really, do you mind if I call that in a second?
Yeah, that's fine. Call me right back though, if you could, because
Do you know what hospital she's in?
no, I don't actually. Are you on campus right now, driving around, or?
Yeah, I'm on campus.
Okay. I really need to get to your dorm, so try and then call me back, okay?
I'm good.
All right, I'll wait for your call.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
When he doesn't receive a call back from her, Detective Messer has her uncle, Eric Lear, call her and record the phone call.
Hey, so you even know what's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because he called me back, and he said that your mom, is gone. That apparently something happened to your mom and she's passed away. Are you there, Nikki? Nikki?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's making us listen to me. Are you okay?
Yeah.
He's making it sound like you were involved or something.
I was here.
Well, how long have you been there?
That week, I did.
Oh, you didn't leave on Wednesday like you told Grandma?
No, because Mom was kind of mad at Grandma.
Oh, when was the last time you were at your mom's? So?
I left late on the. Well, I left. I left really late on, I think, the 19th or something.
Did you mean Wednesday you left there?
Yeah, I got like really late.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday, Nikki?
It was the 19th.
The 19th for sure? Or what time you left?
Yeah.
Did you leave about?
Maybe 6 or 7.
Right, at night?
Yeah.
Detective told me he thinks somebody hurt your mom intentionally. Are you listening?
Yeah. I mean, Mom just had. I don't know. Mom doesn't get along with as many people as you think.
Well, who do you think would have a reason to hurt her?
I don't know. She was having problems with people at work, she said. And then, I mean, he keeps with Bob, they're always into his throat,
Are you okay?
yeah, I'm fine. No, you're not.
So she's trying to tell different stories to all these different people because I think she she's about to get caught and she wants somebody to be on her side. And I also think she wants to have this insanity plea or something like that because she's realizing, it's about to get real. And all of this, like you said, was housing. Like, that is ridiculous.
She's a monster. She wanted the money for the home. In her case, she set her own self up for failure. She didn't file on time for her housing. She filed late. And by the time she filed, it was too late. Whose fault is that? It's not cool. She gets the money. She gets to stay, fulfill her dreams of being a history major or whatever she was going to switch her majors to at the college that she just got to go to, because that's her college. She's no dummy. She's in college. And apparently she's so passionate about it that she doesn't file for her housing on time, which causes her to not get her housing awarded to her, and reacts by coldly calculating the murders of her stepfather and mother so that she can acquire their stuff.
And in between that, she was going to her cousin to pick up money as well.
more stuff.
And maybe he was on it, like you were saying, like him and the other family members that he called to try to see like what he should do. Like, she knows she's caught now, the plan ended kind of thing.
Oh, cause yeah, she looked like the little hitman in the family. She all cold and calculated. She wearing black and white. This chick is a cold-blooded killer.
Absolutely.
Cold-blooded killer. Back in the head, one shot, one kill. To a stepfather. He ain't even see it coming. That's insane. What we should do is continue to grind out our lives, our daily lives, and invest our extra time into our passion. And that's the extra time and extra money into that. Don't forget that part. Gotta fuel these passions that you have, people. Nothing's free.
Her half-brother, Joey, called her initially to find out how she was doing after hearing the news.
So, I started off with a normal chit-chat, love you, we'll see you soon. And then she just was quiet for a second, and then she said, I'm going to miss you, Joey.
Just like that, just very matter of fact, I'm going to miss you, Joey?
Yep.
All right. What did you think when you heard her say that?
I didn't know what she meant the first time she said it. And I don't think I made sense of it just yet. And I said, what? Something like, say that again or what? She's like, I'm just going to miss you. And I said, what do you mean? And then at this point, saying it out loud sounds weird, but I was thinking maybe she was thinking of hurting herself because her mom's gone. So, but I didn't want to put words in her mouth. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I want to say, I said, are you thinking you're hurting yourself now at this point? And she said, no, I don't think I'd do that. And I said, so what do you mean by that? And then she got quiet again, and then she says, I shot him. I said, you did what? Like, I shot Mom and Bob. I said, and I remember leaning forward on the couch and saying it again. I was like, what do you mean you shot Mom and Bob? I was like, why'd you do that? Or something to that effect. And she just started crying really bad and talking really fast. And I couldn't understand what she was saying. I was trying to calm her down. And eventually I was trying to get her to calm down and make sense of what she's saying. And eventually she got to the point where she was explaining that ever since she got back from London, her school trip, that she's had uncontrollable screaming in her head and like a high-pitched screaming. And that it was affecting her sleep and she was having nightmares from it. And then I tried to calm her down some more, and then she said, if I had only gotten the good news phone call about the dorms earlier, I wouldn't have had to do it. And I didn't know what she meant by that. I didn't know anything about the dorm situation. I didn't know what she was meaning by that. And then she said something that I remember was, I'm sorry I had to do it. I'm not sorry that I did it, but I'm sorry I had to do it. And then she was, more crying and things like that. And then I remember thinking to myself, well, I don't know what to do now. So I'm going to call my family and have them help me think correctly about this.
Most defense lawyers do. They had multiple psychiatrists in to testify to how Miriam belittled and abused Nicole, which caused her to feel so bad about herself that she thought her only answer was to kill her mother.
She came forward with this and just said, if my mom didn't want to kill me before, she is going to want to now, and her feeling would be justified because I killed Bob. If she had a delusion about that, she would never have said that. She would never have said, if my mom wanted to kill me before, she certainly wants to kill me now, because she knows that that's not the case. So she said after she killed Bob, then it was justified that her mom would want to kill her. She didn't have that thought before. She got communication from FSU, got the $100 from David, deposited that into her bank account, filled out the housing paperwork, scanned it, and sent it back to FSU between the killing of her father and the killing of her mother.
Would a person who's suffering a psychotic break be able to do all that?
No, that requires executive functioning, and people with schizophrenia do not have that. They cannot plan like that. They're so caught up in their delusion, they're not in reality. So the fact that she's able to communicate with a university come up with where she's going to get money, go to the bank, deposit it, scan in an item, or fill it all out, scan in an item, send it back to university, and get housing between killing one person and killing the second person, that is incompatible with schizophrenia.
The prosecutor ends the trial by describing Nicole's real thought process.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has been talked about throughout this trial of Nicole Nachtman's thought processes, the way of talking, and the things that she said to people after this offense. I submit to you that the best evidence of Nicole Nachtman's thought process are those statements on those calls less than 12 hours after she murdered her mother. She has absolutely no trouble answering the questions. His name is Detective Messer. This is the phone number I called. I left a voicemail. She gets the number back from him. She gives the address of where she is, what dorm she's staying in. She follows along in a logical manner, having that conversation with both Eric Lear and Detective Messer. That is the best evidence of what's going on in Nicole Nachtman's mind, closest in time to when she committed these crimes. And what does she say? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, no, I'm not. Nicole Nachtman's fine. She's fine with what she's done. But she knows that she shouldn't be. She has the thought to know, I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't act like I'm fine. What else does she say? Less than 12 hours after she killed her mother. Well, she had a lot of people who didn't like her. She's already thought, the police are investigating me, they're on the phone with me, I gotta try and put this on someone else. Those are conscious thoughts of a murderer. She knows what she did, and she's got to try and play it off. There are people that didn't like Mom. And, Mom and Robert, they had issues too. These are things that she's already thought about in her mind. These are not disorganized, illogical thoughts. These are not hallucinations.
So, ultimately, she got what she deserved. Well, they say that she was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, August 3rd, 2019.
She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She will never be released.
And it was a very strong case because it was a very weak defendant. So, they're not teaching that in school, though, how to get away with murder.
They all have the however teaching ethics.
They are teaching ethics. You're right. I think they take ethics the first year, don't they? And that's a very great point. They do teach ethics at school. Mm-hmm. I wonder how well she did in that class. Mm-hmm. But what do y'all think? In them daggone comments, react a little bit in them comments.